Finally, Clemson Sports Talk has come back to Columbia. Hello, everybody. Lawton Swan back at it once again. 316 Greystone Boulevard. Guaranteed not to lose a fight today with a fruit fly here on the show that shakes the Southland. Lowell, the artist formerly known as the Intern, in the building, making his way up to Tiger Town. All the coverage for you over on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, our new website, set to launch in the very near future. 803-978-1832. If you want to be a part of the program, you can. 5-star coverage of your 5-star program right here on Clemson Sports Talk. We warned you. Don't even pretend that we didn't warn you about the hashtag CS Takeover. And for those of you that are like, what are you talking about, Swanee? For the past 2 years, in every single Paul preview, by the way, let me first get Lowell the Intern on the air before we dive into, did Dabo Swinney name a starter at quarterback today? Before we get to that hot take, we'll talk to Lowell the Intern briefly. Lowell, welcome to the show.
Bada boom. Realest champs in the room. How are you doing?
I apologize for continually calling you Lowell the Intern.
Thank you.
You will always be Lowell the Intern to me, though. It's a term of endearment. If anybody ever asks, why does he still call you Lowell the Intern, just say it's a term of endearment. He's just accentuating how special I am as his first ever intern as we continue to roll out and hopefully add new interns to the show. But, Lowell, I will say this before we get into the Dabo Swinney topic. We put together a preseason magazine each and every week called the Paul Preview. And in that Paul Preview every week was a map of the state of South Carolina. And that map had a quote from Tim Brando, who said, not many people do it the right way in this business, and you do. When Tim was on the show, of course, jaw hit the floor. I don't know if you were here for that show, Lowell, but I had trouble getting out of here because my head was the size of a watermelon, just trying to walk out of here after having one of the guys I consider the best in the business of sports radio, for crying out loud, a nationally syndicated sports talk radio show, the Tim Brando Show, several years ago, that has since gone away, that Brando hosted for years on top of years from Chateau Brando. You know, when Timmy B says something like that to you, I can remember thinking, I wish this segment and this moment never had to end. There's also that little bit of flattery that's inside each and every one of you where you want to go, tell me more, Tim. Tell me more about how you like what I'm doing, please. I'd love, give me more pats on the back, sir. Thank you. But we would put in there every week in that Paul Preview, it said, hashtag CS Takeover. And I don't think people paid much attention. Now, we had thousands of people that viewed the Paul Preview, but maybe people didn't see what was coming. In retrospect, that map should have instead have been the United States of America and not the state of South Carolina. I think our CS Takeover was small-minded. We're rolling that over to a state, national, and ultimately a global takeover here from the show that shakes the Southland. Lowell, on that front, about the Paul Preview, because we've got a lot going on here at Clemson Sports Talk. I don't know if you've picked up what we're putting down on social media. There's a lot going on. Senior writer Zach Lentz, now part of the show. Lowell, the artist formerly known as the Intern, doing his thing, getting audio over on our YouTube channel, new website coming, everything that's going on. Lowell, I don't know if this is breaking news, but I don't see us doing a Paul Preview this year. I don't know if that's something that you're okay with. I don't know how you're taking that right now. I see that you're having to take a sip of water in preparation for your incredible commentary on this topic. With everything that we're doing to grow the show in 2017, I think one of the things, sadly, we're going to have to cut is that Paul Preview.
The Paul Preview was fun, and it was a fun way for us to kind of, give some previews for the upcoming game and throw some stats out there and everything like that. But we're going to be doing all that anyways. So we're going to be giving everybody all that anyways. There's no need to double down on the Paul preview.
The Paul preview is certainly something that I think could return at some point. As a matter of fact, I think with having a senior writer like Zach Lentz on board, I think he probably would like to do some feature articles. But for now, I think the Paul preview may be taking at least a year or two hiatus from the show that shakes the Southland. So I'm sorry about that, Lowell. Whatever responsibilities you feel like you have here at Clemson Sports Talk, just strike being a part of the Paul preview off of that. So one less thing for Lowell, although he's picked up about 25 things that he's been doing over the past couple of weeks. And one of those was making his way up to Clemson earlier today. Again, all of that over on our Clemson Sports Talk YouTube channel for you to watch. The question, though, coming out of today's situational scrimmage in the comments from Dabo Swinney, where Swinney said, in terms of the Clemson Tiger quarterback situation, all I can say here is where we are today and when we go play the game, unless Kelly Bryant goes backwards, he's been so focused, so consistent, unless things just go totally crazy, Kelly Bryant's going to be the guy that runs out there. Now, we are 10 days into camp. We are in the midst of a quarterback battle that I think the majority of the pundits, myself included, believed was going to go down to the wire, potentially into the opener against Kent State, live fire. Whether it would be Hunter Johnson, whether it would be Kelly Bryant, whether it would be Zarek Cooper, nobody really knew. But essentially today, on August the 16th, I believe it sounds as if, given, and this is something that I think is underrated right now in terms of Kelly Bryant. It's not a tremendous amount of experience that he's got over everybody else. He's not the most seasoned junior quarterback in college football, but he's been around the system. He knows the lingo. He's got a heck of a lot more experience than everybody else on the roster right now. And because of that fact and that he is performing fairly well, I think Dabo Swinney and this coaching staff have gained more and more trust in Kelly Bryant. Now, listening to some of the audio of Kelly Bryant yesterday after they came off of the practice fields as well, I got the vibe that Kelly Bryant, or was that, no. That wasn't yesterday we heard from Kelly Bryant. I think that was on Saturday after the scrimmage. Hearing from Kelly Bryant, I felt like I heard a confidence in Kelly Bryant that I hadn't heard in a while. And maybe heard ever. He's never had to be the guy. Outside of high school when he was at Wren and at Abbeville, he's never had to be the guy. He certainly had to tote the load for those schools. But when you come to Clemson and DW4's in front of you, it's not like you've got to prepare and you've got to be ready to go out there and play. But ultimately, you know what's sitting in front of you. Believe you me, as good as a guy like Johnny Ives is at Apple, as long as Steve Jobs was sitting in the chair up front before his untimely passing, you knew. You weren't going to advance all that far. You weren't going to pass the guy at the top. But now Kelly Bryant's kind of in that role where he's got to figure out, okay, what do I have to do to be the type player that I saw in front of me? And I think that's one of the more beautiful things about the situation with Clemson and having Deshaun Watson there over the past 3 seasons and Kelly Bryant kind of being able to watch him during his time at Clemson as well, is that with that situation, Kelly Bryant was able to watch one of the best, if not the best quarterback in college football the past 2 seasons, and maybe one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, prepare. What was his work ethic like, both on and off the field, the leadership qualities, the conversational topics, I should say, that a backup quarterback and a quarterback have when they have a good relationship. Clemson today held a 2.5-hour practice with a situational scrimmage at Memorial Stadium, preparing for this matchup against Kent State. The situational scrimmage had specific down and distances, all kind of stuff that was going on. Now, Lowell, I know that you started salivating when you heard the news that came out of there that your boy, Travis Etienne had a little 60-yard touchdown run. If Lowell had the option, ladies and gentlemen, to anoint somebody the next Clemson running back, he would put the anointing oils on top of Travis Etienne's head.
I don't know if I'm going that far yet.
I think you would.
But he has been. I mean, he's the running back. We're of all the running backs, we're hearing the most about Travis Etienne, who was not even in the conversation a couple weeks ago. But now he's breaking off 60 and 70-yard touchdown runs in practice. It's incredible.
Overall today in the extreme heat, Clemson ran 100 plays at Memorial Stadium. At the end of the session, the Tigers practiced running out the clock, end of game situations, a lot of down and distance stuff. Dabo Swinney said this, though, about Kelly Bryant, that he made some big plays and was still the number one quarterback. And again, as long as he doesn't go backwards, he'll be the starter in the opener. Lowell unofficially, has he been named, has Kelly Bryant, in your opinion, based on that, if he doesn't go backwards, he'll be the starter? I didn't hear anything about other guys will pass him. He did go on to say, but every practice and every play will be evaluated between now and September 2nd. And then how he performs on game day. But it sure sounds like on August 16th, Kelly Bryant, in 10 practices, may have not only surprised the coaching staff, but surprised the majority of people who cover this Clemson Tiger team by maybe putting some distance between he, Hunter Johnson, and Zarek Cooper.
Now, Dabo also did say he's going to have to go out and do it in the games. I think we knew Bryant would be the starter going into the Kent State game. I think we just kind of assumed that.
I think there was a chance that he got run down. I think there was a chance that at camp that a guy like Hunter Johnson or Zarek Cooper just looked better, that they were going to allow one of those guys to play. I don't think they were going to get caught in can I just call it the Cole Stout situation? But Cole had a lot more experience than Kelly Bryant does. And that was the difference in Cole versus Deshaun in Dabo's mind, and what these guys like Zarek Cooper and Hunter Johnson are facing in terms of Kelly Bryant. There's not as much experience. There's more experience, but it's not as significant as what Cole Stout had when Deshaun Watson arrived on campus.
But like Dabo says, Kelly Bryant is going to have to go out and do it in the games. So he's probably going to get the first crack against Kent State.
With the lights on, can you perform?
I still think Hunter Johnson plays in that game. I still think Zarek Cooper plays in that game. I think all three quarterbacks get snaps in that game, but I do think Kelly Bryant gets the first shot.
Do you think this, and this is something that we want to put out to the people, so feel free to chime in, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832 is the number if you want to be a part of the program. By the way, we do have a couple of guests lined up tonight on our two-a-day series here on the show that shakes the Southland. We'll talk about Georgia Tech with Ken Segura here in about 5 minutes. We'll also talk with Nathaniel Rutherford. No, I think I just made up a name. Is it Rutherford? Mr. Rutherford? Okay, God. For some reason, I was thinking his name was Mr. Remington for some reason. Mr. Rutherford on Twitter. He'll be joining us to talk about Tennessee coming up in hour number 2 at 7:20. But in terms of how Kelly Bryant will play, if those other guys get in, will it be more like what you've traditionally seen when there is a clear-cut starter, meaning Clemson takes on Kent State, the Tigers get up 35-10 in the midway through the third quarter, Kelly Bryant leads one final scoring drive, Clemson extends to 38-0, 38-10, a comfortable margin, and then you go to the other guys to give them some shots in a game where it doesn't really, where you've got a substantial cushion late in the game, sort of mop-up duty for Cooper and Hunter Johnson? Or in terms of getting multiple guys out there, is it going to be, in your opinion, Kelly Bryant goes out, plays 3 series, Hunter Johnson comes in, plays 3 series? I think that little nuance to how it is done on game day, assuming Kelly Bryant's the go-to guy game one, I think that'll truly tell you whether or not Kelly Bryant's got a significant gap between these guys. If Bryant plays the first half of the game and nobody else comes in, then you know the keys to this car belong to Kelly Bryant, and the other guys are just riding shotgun waiting for an opportunity. If it's split series very early on, then I think what we know is that all of this, Kelly Bryant's put some distance, Kelly Bryant is our guy game one, really isn't nearly as significant of a statement as maybe some people are making it out to be today.
I sort of think it'll be like if you think back to, and you don't want to compare the Deshaun Watson-Cole Stout situations. I'm not doing that. But if you think back to the 2014 Clemson-South Carolina State game, where Cole Stout played, I think, the first 3 or 4 series. Clemson put up 17, 20 points, something like that. Deshaun Watson comes in, still in the first quarter, leads a touchdown drive, comes out. Cole Stout goes back in, leads a drive or two, comes out. Deshaun Watson goes in. It may be staggered, something like that. I think Kelly Bryant gets a majority of the snaps, but I don't think it's a situation where you're waiting until the fourth quarter or late third to fourth quarter to put these guys in. I think they get in early.
So that would mean that, in your opinion, the gap not overly significant.
No, I don't think the gap is really that much wider than it was leaving the spring.
Well, what makes me ask that question is, again, if the gap weren't much wider than it was in the spring, didn't it appear from afar, at least, from this observer's perspective, it appeared at least, I would say, that it was going to be a battle down to the wire. Here we are 10 practices in, and Kelly Bryant, if it's a go time today, he's the guy. And it's not a these other guys are challenging him.
Dabo's been saying that for a while, though. He said it back in the spring. He said, if we had to play a game today, Kelly Bryant's going out there to play. I don't think he's saying anything new. I think Kelly Bryant's your starter to start the year. I think the other two guys are still going to have a shot.
803-978-1832. 803-978-1832. Clemson Sports Talk rolling along here. Fox Sports Radio 1400, the iHeart Radio app, live on our website, ClemsonSportsTalk.com. Ken Segura joins us here coming up to talk about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Stay with us.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Brought to you by Ulta Beauty. From makeup to fragrance, skincare to hair care, and even a full-service salon, at Ulta Beauty, you'll find all your favorite brands like Urban Decay, Tarte, NYX, and more. Ulta Beauty. All things beauty, all in one place.
Do you want a pharmacy that treats you like a person and not just a number? Then let Craig and Lori at Southlake Drug show you what a pharmacy should be. Fast, friendly, and professional. Southlake Drug can transfer your prescriptions and take the hassle out of getting your medicine and getting you on your way. Southlake Drug takes all major insurance programs, including Medicare, Medicaid, and state employees, and they provide immunization services, including flu shots with no wait and no appointment. Southlake Drug, 1856 Southlake Drive in the Food Line Shopping Center, 399-7701, or southlakedrug.com.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.
Katie, where's your Jergens? My lotion? Here in the shower. In the shower? I use Wet Skin Moisturizer from Jergens. It's a lotion that works with water to instantly lock in moisture from my shower. My skin stays soft and luminous all day without a heavy, sticky feel. It's all-day moisture made simple.
Well, I did always teach you to enjoy the simple things in life. Can I borrow your Jergens Wet Skin Moisturizer?
Of course, Mom.
Jergens, let your beautiful shine.
Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. Join the show in the chat room at clemsonsportstalk.com.
Weeknights, 6 to 8 p.m., Fox Sports Radio, iHeart Radio, live on ClemsonSportsTalk.com, and also podcasted for you each and every day by none other than the artist formerly known as Lowell the Intern here in studio. Ken Segura, though, joins us here to talk about the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets as we head into the 2017 campaign. Ken, man, welcome in.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been a while since we had you on, but we're glad to get you back in. Of course, you work for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and over there in the Coastal Division of the ACC, I'll tell you what, I've looked at this thing, the ins and the outs. As good as the top of the Atlantic Division is, I think the Coastal may be equally as competitive, and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets coming off of a 9-4 campaign. Coach Paul Johnson with the unique offensive style. Sometimes it looks like the league's caught up with him, and at other times he still looks dominant with that triple option. Being around that program as much as you are, where do you think the Yellow Jackets are in terms of their progression towards winning a Coastal Division title in 2017?
Boy, I think they have a decent shot. I mean, I wouldn't call them the favorite. I think that you give that to Miami, and I think Virginia Tech's always strong, but they've got a lot of the right pieces. I mean, obviously it starts with them with the running game, and they've got a really good fullback or B-back in Dedrick Mills. He led the team in rushing last year. I think he scored 12 rushing touchdowns. It's kind of really fit for that spot. A tough runner inside. They've got a lot of skill guys around him back, and offensive line is mostly back, and two really good linemen, young guys, Parker Vaughn and Kenny Cooper. And the defense has 8 starters back. The pass rush is a big question mark. But beyond that, they're pretty solid. So, yeah, I mean, Georgia Tech, I guess maybe the Clemson games the last few years accepted, they're usually in games and fighting in the fourth quarter. And if they get a few breaks and kind of build momentum, then they can have a season like they did in 2014 where they won the division and played for the ACC title. It's going to be tough because they go to Clemson, as you know, and they play at Miami, the two toughest teams that they play in the league, and so that's you hope maybe you split, and probably on the Miami side, but yeah, so they got a shot, but it's it's one of the things where everything's gonna have to line for them, I think.
My thing, I'm still waiting on Miami. I'm holding my breath, Ken, on Miami. I hear it. I'm kind of like, prove it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's funny. They we have to go back and look, but they've been picked to win a lot, and yet to do so. So it's maybe we need to get a little more time to prove themselves.
On Twitter, he's at K Segura AJC. He joins us here on Clemson Sports Talk. And Ken, when you look at the opener, taking on Tennessee in Atlanta in one of the two Chick-fil-A kickoff classics that they've got over there, a really exciting opportunity for the ACC and the SEC to put this venue together, or put these two events together in the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But ultimately for Georgia Tech, you know, when you're talking about stepping out of conference, you're talking about taking on an SEC school and kind of getting your season off to a good start. I know it's a big game and a big opportunity if they can win that. But how do you think they match up against this Tennessee ball club, who's also in a situation where their coach is on the hot seat?
Right. Well, I mean, I think, okay, I mean, you look at how they did last year. They were actually 3-0 against the SECs in 16. They beat Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Georgia. I mean, certainly from a talent level, I mean, I think almost every time Georgia Tech lines up against an SEC school, they're not going to have as many 4 and 5 stars and so forth. But they, you know, obviously they've been able to hold their own. You know, obviously Tennessee has lost their quarterback, has to replace that, and I've never Young in the offensive line, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know, I'm sure if you look back at, you know, who got offered by whom and who went to, you know, who took whose offer and so forth, I'm sure, you know, you'd give them a nod to Tennessee. But, you know, just the way the Tech plays with that offense, I think it can be an equalizer.
Fair or unfair for the people who maybe label Georgia Tech's fans, maybe even the city of Atlanta, as disinterested in the program?
You know, it's very much, I mean, Atlanta and Georgia, it's very much SEC heavy. There's a ton of people that move here that went to Alabama, went to Auburn, you know, went to South Carolina, to Tennessee, and so they come here. And, you know, obviously the center of the SEC, or the ACC rather, is in North Carolina and Virginia. And so, yeah, it's really not an ACC town in that respect. You know, a lot of Tech grads don't stay here. They move away for, you know, jobs, you know, all over the world, really. And so there's not, I mean, there's only a core of Tech fans, and they you know, their season ticket base is always pretty steady around, you know, 27,000, which isn't great, obviously, but at least there's something there. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people in Atlanta that, you know, that have been here a long time that you know, even just, you know, friends of mine, just talking to them, you get the sense that there's not a lot of interest or knowledge about who Tech is, and that's something that, yeah, the Tech has to kind of fight and just to be on the radar more. It's hard, I think, being in a city with, you know, Georgia certainly first, and the Falcons and the Braves and so forth, and just, you know, people being transplanted. There's not a lot of people that grew up watching or knowing about Georgia Tech. So yeah, there's I don't know if disinterest is the right word, but yeah, they're certainly they're down at the pecking order, and just for the common, you know, Atlanta fan, I'd say.
How does that affect Coach Paul Johnson? I mean, if you look at it a little bit, you know, he's had some great seasons. He had some up and downs, though. I mean, but he went from 11-3 to 3-9 to 9-4. You know, with the fan base, with who they are, I mean, is he in a good spot just in terms of where this program is, in your opinion?
I'd say so. I mean, obviously, yeah, you always want more fans, but I think, you know, the fans that Tech does have, I think they, at least the more knowledgeable ones, they recognize that, you know, Tech is not the easy place to win at, and if you're cranking out, you know, eight win seasons, 9 win seasons every once in a while, that's good for this place. And I think, you know, a couple of, you know, he has a new athletic director who really he's gotten along with, Todd Stansberry, who's a Tech grad, and I think really kind of has hit it off with him. So that's something in his favor also. And I think they're trying to do some things, you know, facilities wise and funding wise that he hasn't had done for him, and so that's another reason I think he feels pretty good. And I think, as I think, you know, the people that kind of understand Tech's place in the ACC and in the Southeast kind of understand that he's really doing pretty well for what's been done here the last, you know, 10, 20, 30 years.
Well, Ken, here's what we'll do, man. We'll put you down October the 28th. Georgia Tech travels over to Clemson. We'll get you on the air that week to talk about where the Yellow Jackets are as they head into that matchup in Death Valley, man. Always appreciate your time.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. Keep up with him, Ken Segura. He's on Twitter at KSeguraAJC, and he covers the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Well, I don't know if they still say this anymore, over at the AJC, but I'm pretty sure that they used to have a little catchphrase or a moniker, and maybe it's a different news outlet. But I think it was the AJC. They've got the South covered like kudzu. Are you familiar with the kudzu plant there, Lowell the intern?
I know of the kudzu, yes.
There you go. So, but we shake the Southland, baby, here on Clemson Sports Talk. Stay with us.
Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason the other day, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." I was like, "What makes you say that, son?" He said, "When I go outside to play now, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was just a couple of weeks ago call Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe with their routine service plan. No more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
Nissan of Sumter is offering incentives this month that will blow you away. How about the 2017 Nissan Rogue Sport? It's yours, just $159 a month, a 36-month lease, and $3,799 due at signing. Or drive home in an Altima. Right now, they're taking up to $7,000 off MSRP. Now is the time to buy. And remember, if you don't buy from Nissan of Sumter, you're paying too much. Check out their large inventory on Broad Street or anytime online. NissanSumterSC.com.
Stars and Stripes Sports is a leader in the sports athlete development market, offering innovative health, fitness, training, and player development solutions for players and coaches of all levels of youth sports. Stars and Stripes Sports is looking to add at least 2 people per state to start their own business for sports testing and to market these events locally. We want people to start their programs in early 2017, starting with spring training. Many high-quality athletes fail to reach their potential. Call Chris today, 704-737-9970, or email Chris Carlson at starsandstripesports.com.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat and Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat and Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Some storms winding down overnight, and the temperature's not going down very far. Still upper 70s. Tomorrow, sunny and hot and humid. Upper 90s with a few scattered late storms. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by Fred Anderson Toyota of Columbia.
Fred Anderson Toyota of Columbia's snooze service just launched. When your Toyota needs scheduled service, simply drop your vehicle off by 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and we guarantee to have it ready to drive off the lot by 7 a.m. the next day. Visit Fred Anderson Toyota of Columbia today.
You're listening to Clemson Sports Talk with my dad, Lawton Swan, on Fox Sports Radio 1400 and on the iHeart Radio app.
Yeah, this album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling from that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter. Yeah. And to all my peoples in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby. Shake it. It was all a dream.
Oh, yeah, there we go. A little B.I.G. in the background, a little L.A.T.T. in the foreground, a little L.O.W.E.L.L. sitting across from me. How you like that, Lowell? How'd I do with that?
Did you say L-A-double-T?
Yeah.
I don't think that's accurate.
Yeah, lot dog. Lot dog.
What was that? Was that a dog?
Yeah, I think so. Lowell. Ken made the point about Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets. And the theme that I hear a lot still, no matter where I go, no matter who I talk to, it's Miami. It's Mark Richt in Miami. They've been in the league since 2004. They're a program that, when we talked about dynasties a couple of weeks ago, we talked about, if Clemson gets back to the college football playoff, gets to the championship game for a third straight year, win, lose, or draw, is it putting them in the dynasty realm? I think you probably got to win that to get there, but given the college football playoff era, you are getting more cred I guess the term would be, for getting that far and going through a top-rated team to get into the championship game. But are you with me a little bit on this Miami ball club? And where I am with them is, prove it. Prove it. I like Mark Richt. He seemed confident. I know they're a much different team than they were 2 years ago when Clemson went down there and gave them the old 58 zip spot. That's still impressive. But I'm like, prove it. Prove to me that you're not going to lose to North Carolina. Prove to me that you're not going to lose to Pitt or Virginia Tech. Prove it. I think they're the best team.
Pitt probably not the best example to use there, but continue.
Yeah, prove it, Tiger Nation. Prove you're not going to lose to Pitt. Oh, you think that won't be a game Clemson Tiger fans have to circle the next time that thing comes running up on the schedule? Ooh, can you imagine?
I'm pretty mad that they didn't do a
home
and home.
That's the ACC schedule for you. When is the next time we play Pitt? It's probably 15 years from now. Deshaun Watson will be retired from the NFL. I really don't know when we play him. The ACC scheduling is ridiculous. Trying to keep up with that. But, again, Miami is a team that everybody's been waiting for. Now, their running back, Mark Walton, is a tremendous back. Oh, and when Lowell the intern agrees with you, you know you're on to something. Go ahead.
Had him on fantasy.
I was about to say, if we had NCAA college football, he would be one of the more fun running backs to play with this year. I mean, when you take a Fournette and a Dalvin Cook out of college football, Walton's a guy I think you want to go get and say, oh, look at there. I like, especially because on a video game, you like to have a good, solid running back like that. Like what Mark Walton gives you between the tackles, fantastic. But prove it, Miami. Just prove it. Now, for Georgia Tech, I'm kind of in the boat of I don't know how much longer they're going to allow Paul Johnson to stay there. You know when you used to spend the night with your friends back in the day, and you stay for one night, and you stay for 2 nights, and then they ask you to stay for a 3rd night, and your parents will say, well, you're going to wear out your welcome. You're going to wear out your welcome. I feel like Paul Johnson's kind of wearing out his welcome a little bit. They've had some great years. They've had some tremendous victories. They've had to forfeit an ACC title. But here's a ball club that's had some of the highest highs and some of the lowest lows. And I think a lot of that is attributed to the fact that it is an offense that they run, this triple option offense, while vaunted in some respects, is a bit archaic in its mannerisms or in the way it moves itself up and down the field. It's sort of like, well, oddly enough, what's their Model T? Is that like a 1919 Model T Ford or whatever that they drive, the Ramblin' Wreck? It's kind of like that. It gets you from point A to point B, and if you're going to a car show, it's a great thing to be driving. But if you're traveling, cross country, it might not be the best choice.
I will say about the triple option offense, when it's working, it is very fun to watch. There's something beautiful about a perfectly run triple option play.
Is my analogy not right? Do you not agree? What year is that Georgia Tech vehicle? It is a 1930 Model A Sport Coupe. When it's running, it is something pretty to see. It looks fantastic. When it's in your neighbor's yard rusting away, struggling, it's a nuisance. That is essentially the Georgia Tech offense. When that thing comes running by you and they're moving the ball down the field and you can't figure out if it's the A back or the B back, and you got guys, running through gaps the size of, I don't know, like you could drive a freight train through them, and they're into the secondary before you know it. Chop blocks going, all that. Yeah. There goes a beautiful 1930 Model A Sport Coupe. But when it's not good, it's not good.
Their biggest problem is you can't recruit to it. You can't recruit anybody to come play in that style of offense. No one runs it anymore. Everyone at the high school level is running spread offenses. They don't want to come play in an offense like that. And if you can't recruit for the offense, you're going to have trouble when you run up on defensive fronts like Clemson's.
Yeah.
Where you have your offensive linemen who are not very highly recruited or having to try to block a Christian Wilkins and a Dexter Lawrence. That's when it's rusting away in the neighbor's yard.
Not only that kind of reminds me of when you're looking for the part. The radiator goes bad. I don't even know if a 1930 Sport Coupe Model A has a radiator, but I'm assuming it does. When that radiator goes bad, and you got to try to find the place to get the replacement. It's like trying to find guys to come in and play in that offense. The spare parts are not readily available. Clemson, Florida State, everybody in the country that's running these kind of wide open offenses, they look anywhere and they can find that is the Camry. Maybe that is the Camry or the Honda Accord. The Georgia Tech offense is basically akin to that 1930 Model A Sport Coupe. It is tough to find guys who can drive it and do it right. Tough to find the spare parts to replace. I'm with you 100%. Lowell. When we come back, we'll talk about Alabama and FSU, the other half of that kickoff classic in the ATL. Stay with us.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Vegas! Introducing new M&M's brand caramel candies. Or is it caramel? No matter how you say it, they're delicious. Unsquare caramel or caramel with new M&M's brand caramel candies today.
Since 1947, there's been only one exclusive hunting and fishing store in Columbia, Barron's Outfitters. Now's the time to upgrade your technical clothes for summer. AFTCO clothing is second to none. AFTCO's original fishing short is the gold standard to which all others aspire. Fishermen and outdoorsmen love the lightweight and super comfortable fit. All AFTCO apparel is designed for maximum comfort and sun protection. If you're not familiar with AFTCO, you owe it to yourself to check them out. And you can find them exclusively at Barron's. Think local, shop local, buy local. Barron's Outfitters, 1725 Hardin Street, or online at barronsoutfitters.com.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
ColumbiaHelpWanted.com salutes the Employee of the Month, the one employee you can't live without. The others, let's just call them Dave.
Hey, Dave, you missed yesterday's meeting. You said you'd be there.
True, Mr. Employee of the Month, but yesterday was opposite day, so when I said I was going, I actually meant I wasn't.
Wait, opposite day? So everything you said yesterday had the opposite meaning?
Right.
So, wait, when you told me you didn't have pink eye...
I actually have a raging case of it.
And when you said you finished the Q3 reports...
Haven't even started them.
Oh, well then, that must mean that when you were asking for a raise, you were really asking for a pay cut.
Touché, Mr. Employee of the Month. Touché.
If you don't mind hiring Daves, go to the national job boards. They may be free, but trust us, they'll cost you. But if you want Employees of the Month, go where smart local job seekers find good local jobs. ColumbiaHelpWanted.com. Local jobs that work.
We don't discriminate against people named Dave. Dave is a common name, fun to say, and so we're using it as a catch-all for lackluster employees everywhere. Please don't write us to tell us you were insulted by this ad. That would be a real Dave move, Dave.
Katie, where's your Jergens? My lotion? Here in the shower. In the shower? I use Wet Skin Moisturizer from Jergens. It's a lotion that works with water to instantly lock in moisture from my shower. My skin stays soft and luminous all day without a heavy, sticky feel. It's all-day moisture made simple.
Well, I did always teach you to enjoy the simple things in life. Can I borrow your Jergens Wet Skin Moisturizer?
Of course, Mom.
Jergens, let your beautiful shine.
At OPEX Columbia, we aim to inspire, empower, and challenge individuals to reach their highest potential. We take this mission very seriously and sincerely desire to help people achieve the goals they set out for themselves. OPEX Columbia is where you will excel no matter what your goal, whether that be health and wellness, body composition, or being a competitive athlete. We are conveniently located downtown across from the South Carolina Baseball Stadium. Contact us at opexcolumbia.com and mention this ad to receive 10% off your 3-part assessment.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk, your iHeart Radio home for the 2016 College Football National Champion, Clemson Tigers.
A record of the delightful piece they're going to play this evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, 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 your attention, please. Your attention, please. Your attention, please.
And now the moment we've been waiting for is here.
I have something to tell you.
Joe chiming in via the Ocean Reef Resort text line, 803-450-0086. He says, Swanee, it's beautiful to watch it ride. It's beautiful to watch it ride by, but it can't hang with a Ferrari. That's kind of what we're getting at. It's an interesting dynamic, though, that the Georgia Tech offense is kind of old school. So is the car. Lowell, you even said to me during the break again, you said, Swanee, you're right. When it's going, it's fun to watch. And it is. You know, somebody rented that car several years ago. This is such a Lowell the intern thing to do. Rented the Ramblin' Wreck for their wedding. You can pay, I don't know what, to rent it for your wedding. And they crashed it. That is a Lowell move right there. I'm surprised that, Lowell, today you got such great video footage of Dabo Swinney after practice that you didn't accidentally break his nose while you were shoving David Hood out of the way from TigerNet. Just push him to the side and get up there. Did you get aggressive with David like you said you were going to yesterday?
I told you I was not getting aggressive with David because David is also a large man.
I misspoke. Did you shove anybody smaller than you?
Some people got the old Heisman. You know what I'm talking about.
Stiff arm. Oh, that's funny. The real Payzant, by the way, one of our Ring of Honor supporters. Learn more, ClemsonSportsTalk.com, or check out our Facebook page. What a great opportunity for Clemson Tiger fans to join in what the real Payzant has helped out with for so many years with Clemson Sports Talk. Payzant, what's up, man?
Hey, so thanks for all that, Swine. Thanks for all you do and continued success on the show. And I think one of the things that people fail to realize about a team like Georgia Tech, and I grew up outside of Atlanta. I was actually probably growing up from age 4 to 16 as big of a Georgia Tech fan as I was a Clemson fan. And I remember how great and how wonderful it was to see them play. But I think the way the game has gone now, and I mean the college game specifically, is that one of the things that's going to hurt, if it hasn't hurt them already, it's going to hurt them, is the fact that, Russell Athletic is based in Atlanta, kind of how Under Armour is based in Baltimore. Okay. And that's why Maryland has Under Armour, all that stuff. The fact that they're sponsored by Russell Athletic, I mean, if you truly think about it, a lot of the kids, a lot of the coaches, a lot of the programs really want to be flashy, want to have nice uniforms, want to have wonderful equipment, want to have apologize about that, want to have so many things that they can offer these student athletes, because remember, you can't pay them. You want to make sure they have all the flashy stuff, the nice uniforms. I mean, look at what Louisville has done the last few years with their success, having the chromed out helmets and things like that, you know, with Adidas. What Clemson has done with Nike, just with the all purple, with the all orange. I mean, it's just been really, really nice what Ohio State does with their Nike. And I think something like that is really hurting South Carolina also. And people don't want to, you know, say it, but their best option is that all black, that blackout that they do with that Under Armour, which really isn't that nice. Like, Under Armour, I think, has failed South Carolina with how they have marketed that team and those colors. Like, they haven't done what they've done at Texas Tech, you know, and other schools that are under Notre Dame, you know, looks great in that Under Armour. And I think Georgia Tech having that Russell Athletic, like, Russell Athletic doesn't even make shoes. Georgia Tech has to have a Nike contract for their shoes. So I think the triple option, you're not going to really get great players, although they've had some really wonderful wide receivers in the past decade, which is really weird.
Yeah.
But that is another thing that kids look, if they should or shouldn't is not the question I'm posing, but that's something that they're looking at. Russell Athletic versus Adidas versus Under Armour versus Nike. Who are you going to pick?
Sure. No, I agree. The good news is I think their contract with Russell Athletic is coming up. I think it runs out this year. So some good news there on that front for the folks who want to, you know, wear a different brand. I just don't know if they've announced who they're partnering with. It's funny because when the Real Paysan mentioned that, I immediately thought, yeah, you know what? They're one of the few that are with Russell Athletic. And then when I looked it up, I remembered that they were changing. They had a contract with Russell Athletic through 2018. And they're the only FBS school with it. I think there are 3, it said, FCS schools who have partnerships with Russell Athletic. I don't know where they're going. I don't know if they've announced a new partnership or not. But, yeah, that is another kind of old school unique aspect, because when I was growing up, people weren't wearing Nike football helmets or Adidas or Under Armour or any of that. I mean, it was Russell. Russell was the athletic gear that people were wearing. And in the 1930s, the Model Ford A Sport Coupe was a car people were driving. Georgia Tech's just old school like that. You guys just can't understand that. I think it is good, though, that they're going to try to switch. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but I think the Real Paysan is absolutely right. That's another problem. Their uniforms are hideous. I'll tell you what, I do like their honeycomb helmets. Is that what they call those, the honeycomb helmets? Have you seen where they do the little the honeycomb kind of design? I don't really know another way to put it, but it's honeycomb?
Honeycomb helmets.
Well, I don't even know. I don't even know why I show up for work. I mean, I just know this stuff.
Oh, it's funny that you really like them, because there's an article that says Tech's honeycomb helmet voted #1 ugliest helmet in college football.
Yeah, that was probably done by somebody who doesn't know much. Now, if you tell me it's somebody famous, I'll really feel bad.
Collegespun.com.
Can't trust those guys. We didn't get the chance to talk about this in hour number 1, but I want to talk about this in hour number 2. So we're going to roll this over. I want you to think about it, because you got about 3 minutes during the break for the top of the hour. I was listening today, and you know I don't do this much, Lowell, because one of the things that I try to do as a radio show host is not listen to the radio, although I do listen to podcasts a lot of wrestling podcasts. You can listen to Clemson Sports Talk on Overcast for iPhone and Podcast Addict for Android, or on your Amazon Echo or Google Home device. But I was listening to a radio show today, and they were discussing if Alabama and Florida State could survive and would be given a gimme lest their loss to each other. Whoever loses that. Could they lose 2 games? Would people hold that first one against them? I'll tell you what they thought. I'll tell you what I think. We'll hear what Lowell thinks when we return.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com.
It's everything you want in one convenient app. Hi, it's Christopher Thompson. iHeart Radio has your favorite sports talk, your favorite music, your favorite stations, all free. iHeart Radio makes it so we're always with you. You can take Fox Sports Radio 1400 wherever you go and never miss Clay Travis or Rich Eisen or Colin Coward. Plus, if you want variety, you can check out thousands of the best stations from all across the country. It's super easy. Listen at iHeartRadio.com or download the free iHeartRadio app now.
For 28 years, the professional staff of the Hobbs Group and Hobbs Group Advisors has been dedicated to helping others achieve their financial goals by delivering quality, objective financial and accounting solutions to a diverse client base of individuals and businesses all over South Carolina. We offer tax and audit services, bookkeeping, payroll, litigation support, employee benefits, personal financial planning, investment management, and insurance services. Please call us at 803-799-0555 or visit our website, hobbscpa.com, to learn more about our people and services.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan, with quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com. Have you been thinking about sprucing up your yard, debating between pine straw or mulch? Call my friends at Carolina Turfgrass to get your yard looking as great as mine right now. I chose to go with pine straw this year, and it looks incredible. Carolina Turfgrass is conveniently located at 5400 Augusta Road in Lexington, and if you need your order delivered, they can take care of that too. In addition, Carolina Turfgrass carries a wide variety of turfs, including Centipede and Bermuda. For unmatched quality and service, call Carolina Turfgrass, 446-6525. Look for Carolina Turfgrass on Highway 1 in Lexington.
Hey, is that a faucet running? Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. It is? Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact... What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum. That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe. How do trees clean the air? They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us. Cool. I didn't know that. Yep. But the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving supports victims of drunk driving, drug driving, and underage drinking at no charge. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org. That's MADD.org.
From the E.F. Martin Heating and Air Studios, this is Fox Sports Radio 1400. WCOS Columbia. Available anywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app.
Fox Sports trending now.
6-day games in Major League Baseball today. One game still going on. Kansas City back in the lead, 7-6, top of the ninth at Oakland. Seattle held on for a 7-6 win over Baltimore, although Mariners closer Edwin Diaz walked 3 and hit 2 batters in the ninth, but the O's, who scored 2 top of the ninth, left bases loaded and lost. With TrueCar, you can find out what other people in your area paid for the same car you're looking for, new or used. Visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. San Diego shut out the worst team in the majors, Philadelphia 3-0. The Phils offense was 3 for 31 against winning pitcher Clayton Richard, who threw a complete game. Padres pitcher Jared Weaver retired today. He was an Angels first-rounder over a decade ago. Angels and Miami each with wins today, and Milwaukee in the game of the day hit 5 homers and edged Pittsburgh 7-6. Soccer, Real Madrid wins again, 2-0 over Barcelona.
It's time for Clemson Sports Talk with Lawton Swan.
Ready, set, just call me Swanee.
Tiger Styles.
It is hour number 2. That's prime time right here on Fox Sports Radio and iHeart Radio. Lawton Swan, the artist formerly known as Lowell the Intern, ClemsonSportsLaw.com. You can watch the show. Our new website launching soon. That's all I'll tell you. Keep an eye out. On Twitter, at Clemson Sports, at Lowell CST, at CST Show, and at Zach Lentz CST. I think we got you covered. All right, before the break, I told you this. I was listening to a show, and the theory was, I want you to weigh in on this, okay? 803-978-1832. And I know we've kind of talked on a theory about this a little bit. Could you absorb a loss? But their argument was more about that they believe that Alabama and Florida State would virtually be given a pass. The loser would be given a pass for having played in such a tough ballgame. And that a 2-loss Florida State or a 2-loss Alabama team would be given this mythical power, so to speak, to be rated higher than other 1-loss teams at the end of the year. And I know the College Football Playoff Committee appreciates a game like this. Again, this is a matchup of, depending on what ends up happening, 1-3 or 1-2 to open the season. The highest rated matchup in the history of college football. 1-4 have played before, 1-3 have not. 1-2 have not to open up the year. But my thing with this whole deal is, I don't believe that Alabama and Florida State will be given some grand leeway simply because of the way this scenario sets up. And again, it maybe I'm looking at the wrong side of it by focusing my attention on Florida State, but we can discuss Alabama as well. Let's assume that Alabama wins that game. And Alabama goes undefeated at that point. They are 12-0. I think we all agree a playoff spot will be taken. Now, if your premise is that the loser of that game is not punished if they lose 2 games, they're going to be seen as a 1-loss team. That's the premise here. Well, who is Florida State's other most likely loss to? I would say it's Clemson. It's a home game. It's in Death Valley for the Tigers. I said it was a home game. I guess that may have confused some people. It's a home game for Clemson. So, under those circumstances, given the fact that they got run out of the building last season up at Papa John's Stadium, you got to know they got revenge on their mind when they take on Louisville this year at home. True or false, Lowell the artist, formerly known as Lowell the Intern, whatever your name is over there. Can I just call you Lowell? Would that be okay?
No.
All right. Gentleman sitting across from me. Would you say that it's fair to say that if Florida State loses another game in 2017, most likely it's to Clemson? They could lose, I know, they could lose to Florida. They could lose to Miami. They could lose a lot of games. They could lose to Louisville.
NC State.
There's another one. Most likely the loss is to Clemson.
Clemson is the one that matches up with them man for man, yes.
Okay, so if Clemson beats them, but the Tigers don't go undefeated, but Clemson goes 11-1 with a win over Florida State, who is now 10-2, would you not agree that Clemson is in the college football playoff? 11-1, you won the conference.
Oh, if it's guaranteed that you won the conference, then yes.
These
I mean,
are,
if Louisville goes 11-1 and goes to the ACC championship, then
right.
things could happen.
These are just assumptions based on
then yes.
Your losses to the team that wins the conference is basic.
Right.
You plug anybody in there, but take that argument. But Clemson being the highest rated ACC team right now outside of Florida State.
Okay.
That was and the team that you said was most likely to beat them. So that's 2 of the 4 spots gone. Wouldn't you agree that a 1-loss Ohio State team would be in over Florida State at 10-2, not winning their conference? wouldn't you agree that a one-loss Southern Cal team winning their conference would be in over Florida State? Like, I don't see any circumstance for Florida State where with 2 losses, they are somehow dismissed from class and dismissed from being a part of the party. Excuse me, included in being part of the party. I don't see it. I think they're out with 2 losses.
Now, here's where it would be interesting.
Okay.
I'm going to throw a scenario at you, that something that happened last year. Ohio State loses to Penn State. That's their 1 loss.
On a crazy blocked extra point.
Ohio State does not go to the Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
So Ohio State does not win their conference. Now, you're dealing with a 2-loss Florida State team. One of the losses is to probably the number 1 team in the country in Alabama.
Yep.
And Ohio State has 1 loss, but you take away the conference championship argument. Who are you taking?
That's a 1-loss Florida State team. That's not what I'm telling you.
No, I said 2-loss. A 2-loss Florida State team who did not win the conference, and a 1-loss Ohio State team who also did not win the conference because someone else represented the Big Ten in the Big Ten championship game.
Wouldn't the team that represented the Big Ten championship game?
Penn State didn't.
Wouldn't they only have 1 loss?
Penn State didn't. Penn State had 2. I'm just throwing another scenario at you. In that scenario, it's a 1-loss who did not win the conference versus a 2-loss who did not win the conference but has a better strength of schedule because they played Alabama.
Okay, so in that scenario, though, Penn State would be in, right? Because are you saying Penn State's going to win the conference?
Penn State won it last year. I'm giving you the scenario that happened last year.
Yeah.
Where Penn State had 2 losses going into the Big Ten championship.
But they had a direct win over Ohio State.
And they did not make the playoff
after
winning the championship. So I'm saying, what if Ohio State, something like that happens again? They have 1 loss. Florida State has 2. Neither one of them won the conference, but Florida State went out of their way to schedule Alabama and play in that ball game.
In your scenario,
what and I'm not giving an opinion either way. I'm asking you, if you're on the committee, are you putting Florida State or Ohio State in?
So basically what you're saying is, okay, Swanee, we're going to fill in Alabama, Clemson, and
USC. And so you're down to Ohio State and Florida State. Ohio State
and Penn State.
And Penn State. Penn State has 2 losses, so does Florida State, but
Penn State won the conference.
Penn State won the conference.
Just like this past year.
Right. Ohio State has 1 loss.
Which was to Penn State. And Florida State is now 10-2, just like Penn State is technically 10-2 before the championship game. Right? I mean, that's what you're telling me. And I have an 11-1 Ohio State team that's not playing in the conference title.
Right. I'm taking the conference championship out of the equation.
You know, I think in that scenario, and I thought last year that Penn State should have been the team that was in. I think in that scenario it would be Penn State based on what we've seen the past couple of years. Maybe you've just presented the one argument where I would say to you that, yeah, maybe that Florida State loss would be dismissed.
See, you have a precedent now where Penn State, I thought they should have been in too, but they didn't get in, even after winning the conference championship.
Penn State's losses were to
Pittsburgh and
Michigan. Pitt, Michigan. And Pittsburgh, they did beat the number 1 team in the country. You got to give them credit for that. Took down the Tigers. Well, I guess not technically number 1, but took down the eventual national champs too. sort of got me teetering here on whether or not that game would be dismissed. I don't know that a 2-loss team that doesn't play for the – like, even in that scenario, I think Ohio State would be the better team over Florida State.
Let's say Florida State lost to number 1 Alabama by 1 point on a last-second field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're going, oh, if you get that rematch, that's if you're on the committee, you're thinking about the TV ratings, you're going to get the rematch.
I would still struggle to put Florida State in over either Penn State at that point or Ohio State. Absolutely, because if your argument was about, well, you think Ohio State's better than Penn State already, even though you saw Penn State beat Ohio State, then I don't know where the argument would be that a 2-loss team from another conference that wasn't even a part of that matchup between Ohio State and Penn State would be deemed a better team. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah. The point I'm getting at is you can't – I don't think them playing against Alabama gives them a pass.
I don't either.
It's not a pass, but they do get credit for agreeing to play the game. And if it turns out it's one of the games of the year, I don't want to give them a pass, but I also don't want to say that's, we're going to punish you for going out and playing that ball game.
Did you feel like Oklahoma got a pass last year? I know it didn't last very long because then they went out and they had probably been beaten already by Houston, but had they beaten Houston and then gotten beat by Ohio State, do you think they would have gotten a pass?
No, because of the way they lost to Ohio State.
They got throttled.
If Florida State goes out and loses by 40 points to Alabama, then there's no scenario in which that game helps them. Oklahoma got throttled. There was no scenario where that game was going to help them.
And would the reverse work? I mean, would a 2-loss Alabama team would have lost to Florida State and, say, Auburn? And now that's the bad game to lose because it's your last regular season game. Maybe you go on and still play for the conference title. And that's the other scenario. What if Florida State's two losses come, but they still play for the ACC championship and then win it, and they're 11-2 ACC champ, and Alabama's an 11-2 SEC champ at that point? I mean, that's a whole nother ball of wax. I think the belief that loss is just kind of forgiven because of who you play isn't accurate. But I do agree, Lowell, in the scenario you presented, given the facts we have from this past year with Penn State and Ohio State, I could see where you could lean towards Florida State a little bit, but I think in that scenario, Ohio State's before Florida State in terms of the pecking order at 11-1.
I just think now in the scenario, Florida State would have to make it a heck of a ball game with Alabama. They can't lose by 2 touchdowns and have that be in their favor in any way whatsoever.
Right.
Because that completely wipes out they played the number 1 team in the country, and they got throttled. They shouldn't get another chance at it. They lose by 3 points at the last second. Then the wheels start turning in the heads of the committee, going, we could get a rematch of this ball game, which was so great in one of the games of the year. Why wouldn't we do it? That's just where I'm coming from on it.
Bent Zero chiming into the program. He's listening to us tonight out in California. Bent, appreciate you being a part of the program. So really cool, man, whenever we get an opportunity to hear from people who listen to the show, not in and around the Midlands of South Carolina, but all over the world via the iHeart Radio app. And again, we also have the podcast available for you, and the fact that you can watch and or listen to the show on YouTube as well. and on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. 803-978-1832. We have a mystery caller on line 3. Caller, welcome in. Hey, call you there?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right, this is Big Kev calling from South Carolina.
Hey, Big Kev.
All right. Man, see, this is what makes the playoff. Now you feel like you need to open this thing up to maybe 6 to 8 teams. Because with Penn State going to what they went 11-1, you say?
Yeah.
Okay. Won the championship. Ohio State finishes, 11-1, 11, whatever they finish, and they finished above them. Clemson and Alabama, they're automatically in. Whether undefeated or one loss, they're in there. They're 1 or 2 or either way. And it's 3 and 4 is going to have to make their way in. All right. To me, a 10-2 Florida State team, just depending on, like you say, they're 2 losses. But the rest of the season, did they handle everybody else? If you give me a 10-2 Florida State team whose 2 losses are to Alabama and Clemson,
yeah,
they're number 4 to me. Especially if they balled out the rest of the season, like they handled everybody.
That's another valid.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you give me 11-1 Louisville, or Louisville is not even in contention, but unless to say they ball out against everybody. Now you got a 10-2 Florida State team and a 11-1 Louisville team, but both of them. Let's just say Florida State would ball out before I say Louisville would. But if Florida State handles everybody like they can, and what Fisher can do as far as the defensively wise, and what they got on offense, if they handle everybody, I take them at number 4 or number 3 at 10-2.
Big Kev, man, call us more often. That's a great take. I appreciate that. I think his point is also valid. Look, if to your credit too, Lowell, if they get just beaten by Alabama on the last-second field goal, they just get beaten by Clemson at the end. But they beat everybody else the way they were beating people in 2013 everywhere else. And maybe when you go and pull out that paper and evaluate them versus a conference champ or somebody else, you might go, I don't know. It's the best team.
This is the reason Louisville kept getting so much credit. Remember, even after they lost to Clemson, all the talk was Louisville should be ahead of Clemson. Do you remember that? Because of how good they played in that ball game.
Yeah.
That's what people were doing with that situation, because Louisville was beating up on everybody else. They beat Florida State by an ungodly amount of touchdowns.
Yeah, it was like 63-20.
Right. And so if Florida State does that, I don't see why they can't get the same credit, especially since they are a traditional power.
Nathaniel Rutherford joins us here on Clemson Sports Talk. We'll talk about the Tennessee Vols on the show that shakes the Southland. Love that Big Cav, man. Call us anytime, buddy. We'll be right back.
Time's running out. It's just about here. If you cater to the bridal market and want to get in front of hundreds of new clients in just one afternoon, you need to be at our next bridal show. Network with other wedding pros, and most importantly, book business. 104.7 WNOK's Fall Bridal Showcase coming up September 17th at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center. Presented by Southern Wade Catering, Carolina Bride Magazine, American Floral, and Columbia Bridal Associates. Reserve your space now at bridecityshows.com. Don't wait, that's bridecityshows.com.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
Lawton Swan here, and I know in sports we're always talking about the big guy. Well, let me tell you, when you're buying a car, you don't need that. What you need to do is head down to Orangeburg to my good friends at Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac. 4 generations of family-owned business right there at Ferry Chevrolet. No dock fees, no tricks, straightforward pricing in a low-pressure environment you'll love. Check them out online, ferrychevrolet.com, or call them 803-536-1600. It's Ferry Chevrolet Cadillac, just a short 30-minute drive off of exit 145A in Orangeburg.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeartRadio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to Win Your Trip.
Fox Sports Radio 1400 has your chance to be the ultimate Newberry Opera House fan. Tickets to all the shows for the upcoming season. All of them. Sign up now at the contest tab at foxsportsradio1400.com. Looking for South Carolina's favorite country? You'll find it at 97.5 WCOS.
It is the show that shakes the Southland, and I feel compelled here with Nathaniel Rutherford coming on the program tonight to give my best effort with it's Mr. Rutherford. You like that wrestling reference there, Lowell?
I like me some Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, don't we all? How about some Mr. Rutherford on Twitter? Nathaniel Rutherford joins us to talk about the Tennessee Volunteers. Nathaniel, what's up, man? Whoa, or not. Thanks, Lowell.
That's got to be the best intro I've ever heard.
What
was on a show?
What was the line? Probably
that was on me. That was not him. That was on me.
Okay,
all right, here we go.
Sorry, it was the best intro until Lowell punched up a dead line that was in the busy signal. Nathaniel, how you been, man?
I'm doing great. How y'all been doing?
Man, we're good. Getting ready for the college football season. I got to ask you, that it would sure seem to me, now, listen, I don't live in Knoxville, Tennessee, but if I did, I think I would have just a beat on the pulse of Volunteer Nation that the hot seat alert is on. Am I right?
Well, yes and no. I don't think it's as much as a lot of the national media is making it sound like the Tom Cornelius of CBS and some other people make it sound like. I think Garrett Lee too is making it sound like he's going to be fired if they go 8-4. I would be stunned if Tennessee goes 8-4 and Butch Jones was fired. I think if he goes 7-5, it's a decent possibility. If he goes 6-6, I think it's a good possibility. But I don't think that's going to happen this year. But I think he's got pressure. I wouldn't say he's I wouldn't even say he's a top 5 in the country in the hot seat. I think he is a little bit, but I think it's been overblown by a lot of the national media just how hot his seat is. I think it's been a lot of because of they have a new AD here and John Curry. I think that definitely adds some more pressure on him too, and the fact that last year was a disappointment. I do think he has pressure, but I don't think, unless they have a terrible season this year, I don't think he's going to be fired.
And what's incredible about it, though, Nathaniel, to me, in looking at this deal is, he's been 9-4 the past couple of seasons. It's not like they've been bad years, but the problem really is it feels like they've let some games get away from them, and losing at Vanderbilt last year certainly hurt. But I also think about the fact that, you've got this opening season game in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. We actually had a Georgia Tech insider on earlier to kind of touch on that matchup. And it's amazing what a game like that with all the eyeballs on you in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic, if you lose that, how just stumbling out of the gate perhaps can be one of those things that starts to lead towards those conversations early on in the season about a coaching change.
Yeah, that game against Georgia Tech actually is going to be very, very important. We're going to have an article out talking about Tennessee's most important games of the season. And I think aside from the big three of Tennessee or of Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, I think that might be number 4, because that one, if you lose that game, it sets such a bad tone for the rest of the season, and it sets things up so badly for the rest of the year. Thinking, wow, starting at 0-1 already in a very pivotal season, it would lose a lot of fans very quickly, and the only way you would get them back would be by going and winning on the road against Florida, and that hasn't happened since 2003 for Tennessee, so that is very highly unlikely to happen. So you could have looking at chance, losing Georgia Tech, you could be 1-2 heading into game 4 of the season, and that would not be a very good start, and that would fire up a lot of the hot seat rumors and the fire Butch Jones talk, and I think at that point it might be a little more warranted, especially if Tennessee loses kind of in bad fashion to Georgia Tech. So that game is very important. If you win that game, you're 1-0, and you not only won the first game of the season, you beat a pretty good team, a team that is was 3-0 against the SEC East last year. So Georgia Tech's going to be all kinds of motivated for that game, and it's a very important game for the Vols this season.
On Twitter, he's at Mr._Rutherford covering the Tennessee Volunteers. And Nathaniel, is, I look at this Tennessee program, and I know how passionate this fan base is. Is there ever a moment where you think about how good Alabama's been, knowing they're your cross-divisional rivals, and saying to yourself, man, could we just not have a season where you don't have to square off with the Crimson Tide? I know you love the rivalry, but for crying out loud, right now they've just been so dominant.
Yeah, that's been a topic, a conversation here in Knoxville for the past 3-4, off seasons usually, and during the season too. But definitely, that's an off-season conversation of what if Tennessee didn't play Alabama. I personally am against it because I think to be the best, you got to, play the best and go against the best. And if you're shying away from competition, that's a slippery slope to, shy away from other people. Because if you make an exception once, you're more likely to make an exception again down the road. So I think they're smart not to go away from that rivalry. But I get what you're saying. You look at the past. You look at back in 2013, which was the first year. If you replace Alabama with, well, I don't know, the SEC West was tough that year, regardless of who you're going to play. But if you replace Alabama with another opponent, there's a better chance Tennessee in Butch Jones' first season could go 6-6 and make a bowl game in his first year. That would have been huge. Or if you look at last year, it wouldn't matter maybe as much last year because they still would have lost a tiebreaker to Florida. But maybe in 2015. You don't lose to Alabama, you're 9-3, and you have a very legitimate shot of actually winning the East in 2015. So there are multiple times during Nick Saban's run here at Alabama that Tennessee could have benefited from playing someone else, or could have benefited if they just didn't have Alabama on the schedule in general. I get it. I understand fans would want that to happen. Say they're getting tired of losing at Nick Saban in Alabama because they have just been ridiculously dominant over the past decade at this point. But I'm against that because I think, like I said, if you have to beat the best to be the best, and if you shy away and make an exception here, you're more likely to make an exception down the road. And where does that ball stop rolling? Where do you where do you draw the line after that point? So I don't think it should, but I get why people do say that because it's not been fun to watch as ball fans here have to watch Alabama every single season go to the SEC championship game. When they don't, it's a huge surprise. But it's a very rare exception at this point. 10
straight losses to the Crimson Tide for the Tennessee Volunteers, one of their arch rivals in the SEC. And I know a lot of people out there, Nathaniel, know about Josh Dobbs. But talk to us about the next man up. Who's that next guy for Tennessee right now as they continue to move through fall camp?
Right now they still have that quarterback battle going on between junior Quentin Dormady and redshirt freshman Jarrett Garantano. I think right now Dormady is going to be your actual quote-unquote starter, but I think for at least the first two games of the season against Georgia Tech and against Indiana State, you're going to see both of them play. I think you're going to see, especially in Indiana State, maybe even a 50-50 split snap, drive count for those two teams, or for two quarterbacks, because they like what they have in both of them. I think they're afraid of, they named one the full-time starter that they're going to transfer, the other one is going to transfer. But also, they're both just good. And from what we've seen in practice, they both have pretty similar skill sets, honestly, even though it's maybe a little surprising. Dormady is a little more athletic than I think what people think he is, and then Garantano's got more of a better arm than people think he does. Yeah. Garantano still needs to work a little bit more on his accuracy, a little bit more on his touch on his deep throws, but he has a great arm, and he's shown some really good touch at times, just not as consistent as Dormady. But I do think Dormady is going to be the starter. He's a former four-star out of Texas. He's a junior. His dad was his head coach at high school. He's played a little bit in some games. He played a decent amount at Tennessee Tech last year, but he's come in, in garbage time over the past two seasons. Garantano, of course, redshirt last year, so he has no actual collegiate experience at all. I honestly think whichever one is, at the head of the Tennessee offense, I think the offense will be fine. I think both quarterbacks have SEC caliber when it comes to their skill set and everything. But I think right now the favorite to win the starting job and be the guy getting the most snaps is Quentin Dormady.
On Twitter, he's at Mr._Rutherford. He's the managing editor for RockyTopInsider.com. Nathaniel, man, always great catching up with you, and we'll definitely get you back on for all our Gamecock fans that peek over the fence as you guys prepare to take on the Gamecocks in mid-October.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one. It'll be a little bit of a revenge game for Tennessee, considering how last year's game went. I'll be happy to hop on then.
Listen, as a Tiger, I have no idea how you lost that game. I'll be honest with you.
As a guy who covers the Vols, I have no idea that I lost that game, so you're not the only one.
There he is, folks. On Twitter, he's at Mr._Rutherford. Again, top 5, I think, in terms of Twitter handles that join the program. And in our show's infancy was absolutely number one on the list.
If James Bond wasn't a thing, I think he would be named Mr. Rutherford.
Is that what you think? Oh, my goodness. Lowell the intern.
Rutherford. Mr. Rutherford.
Formerly known as Lowell the intern. Remember after he came on the show, he changed his handle for a day, and we're like, no, sir. You go back to being Mr. Rutherford. None of this Nathaniel Rutherford stuff on social media. We're back in 3.
iHeartRadio wants nothing more than to bring you closer to your favorite artists.
This is Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters.
So we've updated the iHeartRadio app. No, it's an upgrade. All your favorite music and stations, easier to find. Getting you closer to the music you love with just a tap.
This is Taylor Momsen from The Pretty Reckless, and this is iHeartRadio.
All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free. Download and open the new iHeartRadio app today.
Tiger fans, look no further than the Tiger Sports Shop in Clemson for all your game day gear. Since 1974, they've brought you everything Clemson for the Clemson fan. With quality brand names such as Nike, Under Armour, Antigua, Ping, and many more. From hats to t-shirts to tailgate, the Tiger Sports Shop has all the Clemson apparel a true Tiger fan needs. With 2 convenient game day locations in Tigertown, shop where I shop at I Am Ibrahim's Tiger Sports Shop. They fuel the passion of Tiger fans everywhere. Check them out online, tigersports.com. Hey guys, Lawton Swan here. I was hanging out in the backyard with my son Mason the other day, and he said, "Dad, you're the best father ever." I was like, "What makes you say that, son?" He said, "When I go outside to play now, I don't get eaten up by the bugs anymore." Imagine that, me, a hero, when all I did was just a couple of weeks ago call Trey Powell at Mosquito Joe with their routine service plan. No more bugs and no more bites. Make yourself the family hero. Call Mosquito Joe today, 803-223-7916. Outside is fun again.
Love it raw? For the freshest sushi in town, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, 807 Gervais Street in the Vista. Sakatumi's flavorful grill for non-sushi fans features the Kobe burger, filet and lobster, chicken hibachi, and more. Fresh sushi, flavorful grill, Sakatumi Grill and Sushi Bar, sakifresh.com. Looking to get away without having to spend a whole day traveling to your destination? Ocean Reef Resort offers 1, 2, 3, and 4-bedroom accommodations with the comforts of home and boasts the best oceanfront views. Swim in their sparkling indoor and outdoor pools, relax in their hot tubs, try out the Adventure Oasis pool with adult-sized water slide, or just float down the 250-foot lazy river. Visit us at oceanreefmyrtlebeach.com or call us at 1-866-935-0530 to learn more.
Some storms winding down overnight, and the temperature's not going down very far. Still upper 70s. Tomorrow, sunny and hot and humid. Upper 90s with a few scattered late storms. For Channel 25 ABC Columbia, I'm Chief Meteorologist John Farley.
This report is brought to you by Fred Anderson Toyota of Columbia.
Toyota's national clearance is underway at Fred Anderson Toyota of Columbia. Buy 2017 Corollas with 0 APR for 72 months, plus no payments for 90 days. Fred Anderson Toyota of Columbia.
Excludes TTL and includes $398 closing fee, $0 approved credit based on $1,389 per thousand financed.
Follow Clemson Sports Talk on Twitter at Clemson Sports. Now more of Clemson Sports Talk. Take it away, Dad.
Kane is in the building.
Lowell, are you a big financial investment strategies guy? And by financial investment strategies, I mean, do you put a little money ever on anything called sports? Allegedly.
No, I would never do that. That's illegal, Swanee.
Okay, great. Me either. I will tell you, though, if you are a guy that were to be in a sports investment strategies type environment, I was just looking at the against the spreads the last 10 years for the ACC. And I know that some people, no matter what you tell them, are still going to feel like they're going to find a way to win. Do you agree with that statement? A lot of people who do like to invest in sports strategies feel like they're going to win?
Sure.
Over the last 10 years in the Atlantic Coast Conference, can I briefly give you the against the spread results for every team in the league? It's kind of scary to me when I give these numbers out because it just shows you how good Vegas is. And for people that maybe don't know much about sports investment strategies, as close as you are to 500, and maybe I'm wrong on this, Lowell, but I feel like at 500, the house is winning. Meaning that's where they want it to be.
Well, yeah, spreads are tricky. Spreads are really tricky, and they do a really good job of setting it at the perfect spot.
Perfect.
So it's like, all right, Clemson's a 35-point favorite over Kent State. Do you think Clemson's going to run it up, or do you think Clemson pulls their starters in the fourth quarter and they don't hit the spread? It's a tough call.
This is the Atlantic Coast Conference, and again, this is over a 10-year window. Florida State against the spread, 66, 64, and 1. Clemson over a 10-year period, 70, 62, and 1. Louisville, 58, 65, and 2. NC State, best in the conference, 66, 55, and 2, 11 games above 500. Boston College, 62, 64, and 1. Can't get much more even than that. Oh, yeah, you can. 62, 61, and 1 at Wake Forest. 57, 63, and 1 at Syracuse. 62, 62, and 2 at Miami. 62, 67, and 4 at Virginia Tech. 65, 61, and 2 at Pitt. 67, 58, and 2 at North Carolina. 64, 61, and 4 at Georgia Tech. And 69, whoa, we have a new leader in the clubhouse. I think I misread this earlier. I thought it said 59. 69, 50, and 3. Duke, actually the best team in the conference against the spread. And finally, 56, 59, and 5. Virginia, the last 10 years. How many of those teams were within a couple from being, spot on? Miami 62, 62, and 2. That is ridiculousness.
Well, see, that's why if I was a sports investment strategies person, I am picking a team straight up one way or another and not messing with the spread. Yes, it's more money if you get it right, but it's also way less likely that you get it right.
That is a valid point, Mr. Lowell. FSU fan joins us, I'm assuming, to debate could a two-loss FSU team get into the college football playoff. FSU fan, what's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Man, great. Good to hear from you.
All right. Well, two things. I want to first I want to talk about the Georgia Tech subject that y'all had talked about. My only statement to that is that if Georgia Tech, I'm pretty sure y'all already said this because I caught this at the tail end. So I'm pretty sure y'all mentioned something of this. But if Georgia Tech could just change that offense, man, the Coastal Division, man, could be so much stronger, and then the ACC was showing up will have one of the top, the number one conference, in America. That's just my subject on it because okay. I don't want Paul Johnson to get fired or anything. But if he could just change our offense and just like y'all said, go to a whole spread like everybody else is doing, they can have so much more recruits staying in the state of Georgia, and then that rivalry with Georgia and Georgia Tech can be so much stronger, man. It'll take everything in the ACC to a whole nother level. But as far as the Florida State situation, like the last caller just before the interview, we had to lose that game by 2 or 3 points against Alabama. And the same situation would have to happen if we lose another game in conference with somebody else. That's the only way we'll be able to get into to the playoff. But I still doubt that a two-loss Florida State team will still really, get into the playoff anyway.
FSU fan, I know it's still early and you've got time to change it up, but, what kind of season are you expecting at Florida State this year? Do you believe that this is a team that should be ranked inside the top 5, and do you think that they will ultimately get into the college football playoff in 2017? How are you feeling about them?
Well, as far as being into the top 5, me being a fan and a college football fan,
yeah,
I would have us right at number 5, right now, because our situation, even though we got a lot of players, good players coming back and everything, but I've seen this before with Florida State before, that we rank in the top 5 and then we just have a 3-loss season or 2-loss season, because it's as bad as our offensive line played last year. We still don't know how our offensive line is going to be this year, because right now we're still trying to figure out who's going to be our top 5, and we got returning players, Ellaby, our center, most definitely, he just, even though he had a couple of surgeries and injuries, but still with those surgeries and injuries, to me, his mentalness of protection, just broke down, because even when we played y'all on that last play to where y'all got a sack, I don't know if his protection call or Francois' protection call, messed up, one or the other, but he turned to the right and that left Bowell wide open to a straight sack to not even allow Francois to get the ball off, So I mean, our offensive line, I can't say that, really, I don't think we're gonna beat Bama, because right now, if our offensive line even plays decent, decent is not enough to beat Bama right now, I mean, we would have to come in there on a high level, and everybody, a high level, and our defensive line will have to give the offensive line a high level of competition during the fall right now to even compare to Bama's defensive line anyway. That's just the way I see it. If we beat Bama, hey, more power to us. But right now, I don't see us beating Bama because right now of our offensive line play right now.
Appreciate it, FSU fan. Great insight there into the Florida State Seminoles.
And this is the one worry that you have if you're a Florida State fan. It's you're loaded all over the place. You've got a great quarterback. You've got a stacked defense with Derwin James coming back. But that offensive line, Francois took a lot of hits last year. You don't know how it's going to perform. And if he keeps taking hits, you don't know if Francois is going to make it through the season.
Yeah, and they've got a tough opening stretch too. We'll give you the rundown of their first 4 games. It's either going to be a great start for Florida State or not so great start. I don't know that there's a middle ground for them based on their schedule. Stay with us.
Win your trip to our 2017 iHeart Radio Music Festival, hosted by Ryan Seacrest.
Let's go!
Over 20 of the greatest performers on the planet. September 22nd and 23rd at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Listen to win your trip.
Vegas!
Capital One is the proud marquee partner of the iHeart Radio Music Festival. So cardholders, make sure to have your Capital One card with you at the Daytime Village presented by Capital One to unlock exclusive opportunities. See you in Vegas.
Hi, I'm Alicia Kaufman-Quinton. My daddy, Billy Kaufman, opened Kaufman's Meat Plant at our present location in 1955. My family still works hard every day to ensure fresh quality cuts of beef, pork, and poultry. How about a tasty T-bone, ribeye, or New York strip steak? But to order at Kaufman's Meat and Place. Just look for the signs near the intersection of US 1 and I-20 in Lexington. Call us at 356-0076 to place your order. Kaufman's Meat and Place, when you want the very best your money can buy.
Does your water have a bad taste and odor, high content of chlorine and chemicals, and hardness? Then call the plumbing pros at Metz Plumbing for a free water analysis. Metz Plumbing is the exclusive dealer for Connecticut Water Systems, the best drinking water system in the world.
732-DRIP.
When a stroke happens, every second counts. So don't drive and call 911 to get to the emergency department as soon as possible. At Lexington Medical Center, we're pleased to serve our community. As a certified primary stroke center, our acute stroke team rapidly evaluates patients and provides them with the fastest treatment possible. This specialized care limits the chance of brain damage and gives stroke patients a better chance of full recovery. Act quickly at the first sign of a stroke and count on the Stroke Center at Lexington Medical Center to provide you with the best possible care.
Need custom shirts, hats, or uniforms? How about promotional giveaways for your business or organization? Need fast turnaround times? Look no further than Meridian Printing and Promotions. Located in Lexington, they provide an in-house art department, in-house screen printing, and in-house embroidery services to the Midlands and beyond. For the absolute best quality products and services, contact Meridian Printing and Promotions, 785-4990. Check them out online, mbspromo.com.
For more information about contests on this station, go to foxsportsradio1400.com/rules. Welcome back to Clemson Sports Talk. your iHeart Radio home for the Clemson Tigers, winners of the 2017 National Championship game.
Lowell, I'm trying to advance you past intern status.
You got me caught up doing math, which I hate doing math. And it distracted me. It distracted me.
Lowell, could you please hit the correct music for the fans?
Okay.
I mean, the people, they join us for 2 hours hoping to hear the good stuff, and you give them, what was that, Sweet Child of Mine?
I believe so.
All right.
You ready?
Hit it.
What have you done for me lately? It's a fair question. Just don't lose sight of the bigger picture. Don't forget history. Lucky for us at Clemson, the answer to the questions, what have you done for me lately, and what have you done always, are the same. We win.
Clemson Sports Talk, Lawton Swan, the artist formerly known as Lowell, the intern, hanging out with us here tonight. 803-978-1832, the Ocean Reef Resort text line, 803-450-0086, 803-450-0086. You know, one of the things you talked about earlier when we got into the debate of has Kelly Bryant shored up the quarterback spot given Dabo Swinney's comments earlier today. And for those of you that did not hear Dabo Swinney's comments or were not with us at the top of the program, I'll give you the quick synopsis of what Swinney said. This came to us from Clemson's Tim Beret. Dabo Swinney saying that Kelly Bryant made some big plays, was still the number one quarterback. As long as Kelly Bryant does not go backwards, he will be the starter in the opener. But every practice and every play will be evaluated between now and September 2nd. Then he has to perform on game day. He must continue his consistency. That little caveat, he must perform on game day, something you pointed to, Lowell, earlier. I pointed to it as well, as something that I think is the one red flag that Clemson may still have. Some guys, when the lights are on, they got it. Some guys, when the lights are on, do not. Can we point to Roberto Aguayo right now in some respects, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers spent a second-round pick on Aguayo? And I don't know if that got between his ears or what, but he went from being one of the most consistent kickers that we've ever seen in college football to being just spraying the football all over the place at the NFL and now being out at Tampa Bay. I believe he got picked up, though, by the Chicago Bears. Is that right, Lowell? Was it the Bears that got Aguayo?
It was. And by the way, Aguayo is the third most accurate kicker in NCAA history by percentage, 88.46%.
You know the one he did miss, though, that really hurt? The one that got blocked by Georgia Tech in return. His effort on that tackle was...
And it was so funny because he was talking about if he had to make a tackle. Someone asked him if you had to make a tackle, could you do it? And it was like a week before. And then he came out and got put in the washing machine, spun around.
Not good. Not good for him.
It seems like Georgia Tech always has a game like that. They're the team that just one time a year they get somebody every year. Last year they got Virginia Tech. Nobody saw that coming. 2 years ago they got Florida State. Who was it they beat? They beat somebody 3 years ago too.
All I can tell you is, now I'll find out who that is, but I can tell you this about them from that Florida State game. That my cousin Richie was getting married that day, and Clemson kind of needed that game, if I remember correctly. You wanted to see Florida State get knocked off in that game, and boom, it kind of came out of nowhere. Everybody kind of raised your eyebrows real quick. So you said 2 years ago?
2 years ago was that Florida State game, because they went like 3-9 that year.
Oh, I'm sorry, not 2 years ago. You wanted to see who?
3 years ago they were actually really good. That's when they beat Mississippi State. So maybe they weren't much of a surprise that year.
Let's see, that was 2014 when they went 11-3. Who did they upset along the way? Maybe Clemson, 28-6 when Cole Stout got in there. Lowell, tell us about that game again. Walk us through that one.
I would not like to do that.
Tom Brady in the NFL, we'll turn our attention there, talking about Deshaun Watson here at the back end of the program. Tom Brady, very complimentary of the former Clemson Tiger quarterback. And not only that, but, when we talked about how we thought Deshaun Watson would be successful in the NFL, a lot of people are like, well, you can't compare him to Tom Brady. But Tom Brady's now making the comparisons to Tom Brady. Can Tom Brady compare Deshaun Watson to Tom Brady?
No. No, he cannot. It's against the rules.
Tom Brady said this about Deshaun Watson. He's had such a great college career and got picked by a great team. Watching him play, he had a great future. He has all the ability, and it was great to meet him. Pro football players watch a lot of college players because Saturday night we're at our hotel, and Clemson was on a lot. Obviously, they won a lot of big games. It was great to meet him. Tom Brady also said this about Deshaun Watson's athleticism. Brady saying, hold on, I'm not sure even Brady is allowed to say this. I would love to be able to make some of those plays. That's what Tom Brady said about Deshaun Watson. Brady was joking about his lack of speed. Watson, of course, pretty swift in the giddy-up. Brady saying, if I could run a 4.7 man, I would have been the first overall pick. Unfortunately, I ran a 5.2. So, Tom Brady says, I wish I could make plays like Deshaun Watson.
And, there was a lot of – one of the big knocks on Deshaun Watson was, he doesn't have the arm strength. Well, if you want to go back to Tom Brady is not known for his arm strength either. Tom Brady is just known for slicing and dicing defenses.
I really do like the fact that, Deshaun Watson is getting respect from a guy like Tom Brady. I think it just goes to show you that the expectations and the view that guys like myself who have been around Deshaun Watson kind of watched him aren't far off when you say he's one of the best you've ever seen do it. Former Clemson offensive tackle and former Florida offensive tackle, just briefly, Jake Fruemorgan has found a home. Fruemorgan's going to play for the Baylor Bears, according to reports. Sick'em365.com reporting that earlier today. Lowell, you have hesitation in your...
Probably would not be my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth choice.
Okay, so your thing is more about Baylor in general.
Going to Baylor. Yeah, I guess you take your opportunities where you can get them. It's just, I'm not sure they would make my top 60 choices.
What I still can't quite figure out what happened with him in Florida. He's a Tampa, Florida guy. He's there in Gainesville. They tweet out the image, and again, this was the worst thing I've ever seen. These photoshops that Florida put out the same day of Zaire and Fruemorgan looking exactly the same with just different names and numbers on the back of their jerseys. It was so horrible. He's got one guy is like a 6'5" white dude. I don't know how tall Zaire is, but I know he's not white. But we got to get out of here. We can discuss all that more tomorrow. Terrible Photoshop, Florida. Until then, as always, y'all take care now. And go Tigers!
Our customers receive the best heating and air conditioning service in South Carolina. Hi, I'm Tim Mosley, and I can make that statement because that's what our customers tell us every day. We call it quality confirmed. Call us at 803-233-7172, and we'll call you when the job is done to confirm we met your expectations. That's quality confirmed. We're Carolina Conditions, and we're committed to meeting your expectations. 803-233-7172. Call us at 803-233-7172.